What's up, y'all? Welcome in, back in to Morning Scone. If you were here a bit ago, my apologies. I had a fussy child, and so I just shut it down and decided, hey, let's try this thing over again. So, I hope we've got Drew situated in the other room, and he's going to be happy and cooperate while I do the show today. Glad to have all of you here. Happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you have a great, happy celebration. Appreciate our friends over at Boudreaux's, of course, as always, for sponsoring the show. So if you're going to be out by the pool today, get you some Boudreaux's margarita mix, of course, Bloody Mary mix as well. We appreciate them so much. So, Rick said, don't stop when Drew's there. He's the best part. I don't know, man. I got to remind when he's in here, man. But if he's just constantly fussing, I don't want everybody just to think that he's just fussing all the time, because he's a really happy kid, but he was just in a little mood this morning. Nick, welcome back. Adam, welcome back. Jason, good morning. Lindsay, good morning. Patty, good morning. Glad to see all y'all here on this 4th of July edition of Morning Scone. Episode 99, by the way. We've done this 99 straight days. Tomorrow will be day 100. We haven't missed, despite holidays or weekends or whatever, vacation. So I've enjoyed doing it. So glad to have y'all here as well. So two things I want to talk about primarily. We'll get to y'all's questions. Alan, good morning. Cole, welcome back. Take two, right? I'm sure there are people that are watching this later on YouTube. We started it. Drew came in here. He was just fussing. So I was like, hey, let me just shut this down, get him situated, and come back. So that's why people are saying, hey, welcome back, part two. Dale, good morning. Appreciate y'all for being here. So, Boogie Cousins. The report from Mark Spears on the day Boogie signed, 2 days ago when Boogie signed with Golden State, was that Boogie had no offers. That was the report. Now understand, Mark Spears is kind of Boogie's mouthpiece. They got a good relationship, so he talks to Boogie. They've got a good they communicate. So clearly Spears had spoken to Boogie, and that was the report he got firsthand from DeMarcus Cousins, and that's what he reported. I think that's very shoddy reporting, because you at least go to the team and ask for confirmation, to give them the opportunity to comment on that report before you just fire it out there. But that doesn't happen in 2018, because most journalists are lazy. They want the clickbait, salacious story. That's what they roll with. And to say Boogie Cousins got no offers is going to be more appealing than what actually happened. Well, naturally, the Pelicans were able to tell their side without going to a press conference, and that is that they offered DeMarcus Cousins a 2-year, $40 million contract. Now, this was after the injury, but before the end of the season. So it couldn't have been a formal offer yet until free agency began, obviously. But they disclosed those terms. 2 years, $40 million is what they offered DeMarcus Cousins, to which he said, no thanks. You see, this is what happens sometimes with egotistical athletes. They think that maybe they're better than they are, or that everybody is going to want them, when in reality, back in May, we had Bobby Marks on AFR, who's a former NBA front office executive, and he is now ESPN's front office insider, and Bobby told us, and we're just AFR in Baton Rouge, what do you think actual people with knowledge of the situation were telling Boogie, if he's actually listening to people giving him good information instead of what he wants to hear? Well, he said, look, the market for Boogie is going to be non-existent. You basically got New Orleans. The only other teams in need of a big that might spend would be the Lakers and Dallas. Well, coming off of an injury like DeMarcus, you can't expect he's going to get max money, but that's what he thought he was going to get. So the Pels say, hey, look, we'll give you 2 years, $40 million, let you get right, and then we'll discuss this again in 2 years. And, of course, that would coincide with Anthony Davis trying to extend. And that would have been a great deal for New Orleans. And for a big coming off of a ruptured ACL, man, $40 million over 2 years, what are you complaining about? But DeMarcus Cousins thought he'd get max money, so he said no thanks to the Pels. They pulled the offer. This was in the report today from the New York Times, or last night from the New York Times. So there was some earlier who said, hey, man, he just cares about winning more than money. No, he's an idiot. He was an egotistical moron who thought he was going to get max money. He didn't. As soon as DeAndre Jordan signed with Dallas and the Lakers signed JaVale McGee, there was no other need for a big man at a gigantic contract. If it were known throughout the league that Boogie Cousins would have accepted the MLE, which the tax the luxury tax MLE is $5.3 million, which is what he got. It's like, if teams around the league had known they could get Boogie for 1 year at that cost, the teams in the tax, teams outside the tax would have been $9 million. But regardless, like, the point is, like, tons of teams would have taken Boogie Cousins for that, but nobody would have thought that he was available at that. But his phone wasn't blowing up with max money offer, so he went and called Golden State and said, "Hey, I want to come." And they said, "Look, all we can offer you is the mid-level exception." He said, "I'll take it." He'll go get a ring. He won't have to play much. He certainly won't have to play starter minutes. But he'll just kind of sit on the bench. He'll be a guy off the bench that can give him size and scoring when they need it. He'll win a ring, and he'll try free agency next year. But I don't know if it's a good look for him, man. I don't know what he'll be able to prove this year sitting on the bench in Golden State. But he'll get a ring. So, Nick, good morning. Dalton, Corey, Chuck, good morning. Another Nick, Triforos, Tim Davis, good morning, y'all. Cole said people could say Boogie's betting on himself. He's chasing a ring, plain and simple. I don't even know if it's so much that, because I don't think that was his intent going in. His intent wasn't, I'm going to chase a ring. DeMarcus Cousins thought he was going to get a max deal. And it was very obvious that to everyone, apparently except him, that he wasn't. So when free agency begins and his phone's not blowing up, I had a conversation yesterday. How do I want to phrase this? I had a conversation yesterday with someone who had spoken to DeMarcus. And it sounds like exactly what you would expect. He was surprised, phone wasn't ringing, nobody offered him. The Pels said they're moving on. Well, they offered you 2 years, $40 million, and then Julius Randle became available. It's like, hey, we ain't waiting on you. Let's go get a guy. So, all right. Michael Moscona, what's up, man? What's up, cuz? Good to see you. Trivia, good morning. Joe Armato, good morning. Thanks, y'all, for being here. Appreciate it. So anyway, so here's my point. Yesterday I told you that after the Boogie news broke, I stayed off of Twitter intentionally. I didn't want to just emote against Dell Demps for letting Boogie Cousins walk for the mid-level exception to Golden State. And this is why. Because the whole point of the conversation yesterday was two sides to every story. Boogie's is that he got no offers. Well, now we know the other side of it. The truth may be somewhere in between, but it's absurd to think that he got no offers at all. Tamara, good morning. Good to see you here. Joshua Carr, good morning. Craig Schilling, upset that the Yankees beat the Braves. He said the short porch and right at Yankee Stadium is a weapon. Braves will just need to sit in the first row to catch all the pop fly balls. Take this series. # chop on. Hey, Craig. So Giancarlo Stanton last night got a short porch homer to right that provided the Yankees the final margin. But Chapman mowed you down in the ninth, so it wouldn't have mattered. The homer wouldn't have mattered. And by the way, you won 2 nights ago on a short porch bomb by Acuna. So kick rocks with that, especially after Hicks. Hicks's ground rule double, if it's a foot lower, it goes off the wall instead of over the wall, and the Yankees walk it off. So kick rocks. But thank you for the videos that you sent me about for Morning Scone. I do appreciate it. Keep them coming. All right. We'll get some of your questions and stuff. If you want to fire away, feel free. So that's my take on the Boogie thing. I'll absolutely give. I'm not giving Dell a total pass, but the criticism that people were ready to lob against him. You go offer DeMarcus Cousins 2 years, $40 million, and he walks. I don't know what else you do. I think it's smart not to have gone above that. I mean, that was more than generous for a player of his size coming off the injury he had, which is something a lot of people have talked about. Good morning, buddy Chasson. Mark, good morning as well to you. Appreciate everybody for being here. One other thing that I want to touch on, and if y'all got questions or comments or anything, fire away. We'll get to them. And if you haven't done it yet, please hit the share button. That just the share button at the bottom. I'll probably explain this before, but like the Facebook and Instagram changed their algorithm. So, like, the only way videos like this populate people's timelines anymore is really if you share. So, or if you click on it all the time, then it's going to keep popping up in your timeline, or if you set notifications. So shares help tremendously. So I appreciate that very, very much. So Brice Turang, here's the other one. Brice Turang, who is the first-round draft pick of the Brewers. I think everybody knows this story by now. Long, athletic, shortstop, power hitter out of California. He was 21st pick of the Brewers. Brewers can offer him about $3.6 million. He's signed with LSU. That's the key point here. Signed with LSU, but his deadline is 4 o'clock Central Time on Friday if he's going to sign with the Brewers. Well, the Brewers GM called David Stearns, said, called this a toss-up, said, quote, "There's nothing to report." And he failed to say Stearns did if the two sides were even negotiating anymore. So that's really good news for LSU. I mean, I'll keep saying this. We've seen things like this happen a million times. It goes down to the deadline, and ultimately the kid has to decide. It's like a make or break, do or die final offer. It's like, this is it. You want it or no? And he's holding out, hoping that they come up with more money. But the bottom line is, thank you. Drake Blanchard says 3.4 now. They signed their 24th rounder over slot. I saw that yesterday. Not the 24th rounder. Like, they signed their 11th rounder yesterday. Either way, 3.4, 3.6, regardless. I'm about to sneeze, by the way. Excuse me. What a morning, man. I had Drew coming in here fussing. We had to start the video over. I'm sneezing. Anyway, so deal with Turang is it'll go right to the deadline. Ultimately, Milwaukee will put $3.4 million on the table right at the deadline and say, do you want it or no? And he'll have to decide, does he want to become an instant millionaire, or does he want to go play at LSU? And nobody knows that answer right now. If they did, he'd sign half a dozen first-round draft picks signed yesterday. There's only 6 first-round draft picks remaining unsigned. They got until 4 o'clock Central Time on Friday. So if you're an LSU fan, big way, cross your fingers, because if Brice Turang ends up on LSU's campus day one, he's your starting shortstop, batting in the middle of the lineup. Josh Smith plays third, and you are a juggernaut next year. Like, legit, probably the betting favorite to win the national championship. So, but I don't want to get your hopes up too much, because I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, if you made me go take all of my money to a ticket window in Vegas, my guess is that the 18-year-old kid says, okay, I'll take your it's not $4 million, but I'll take your $3.4 million and go play professional baseball. That's just my guess how it all goes down. So anyway, let's see. If y'all want to get involved, let's see if we can get some questions here. AJ Holland, what's Anthony Davis's next move? Who does he go after to bring to New Orleans? No idea who they go after. None. Sorry. I mean, nothing now. Like, this year, they just don't have any money. I mean, I guess theoretically they could try to work some type of deal where if they could dump salary like Solomon Hill and trade an asset like a future first and bring in a player. I mean, they definitely need a wing. They need a scorer. That would be great. But as far as free agents, they don't have any money. I mean, and there's no more marquee free agents out there. So probably what you're going to see them do is just sign a bunch of veteran minimum players to sit on the end of the bench, unless if Dell can go work a deal to trade another future first-round draft pick, which is kind of the only assets he has right now. I mean, there's just nothing else on the roster that's valuable. So, like, theoretically, I guess they could try to trade Mirotic, but quite honestly, man, I like a guy that's 6'10", that can shoot like that stretches the floor, takes some pressure off AD. I mean, I'd like Mirotic to stick around, but if you feel like you can get better by trading him, all right. Let's see. Trevor Satoon, good morning, Kyle. The Brewers don't have a ton of money to sign their first 10 picks. He's asking for big bucks, and they don't have it. It just depends what his number is. And nobody's disclosed that information. Now, if he wants $6 million, well, 3.4, I mean, there's a big gap. But if he wanted 4, and they're coming in at 3.4, we'll see. We'll find out Friday. Nathan Roy, can we talk about how LSU baseball players are doing in summer leagues? Team USA, super excited for next year. Yeah, Nathan, no doubt, man. I've been keeping y'all up with Team USA. They lost last night to Japan, 1-0, but in their series against Chinese Taipei, Daniel Cabrera was the batting champion in that series. Hess made a start and threw two scoreless and two perfect innings, as a matter of fact. And Watson was the second leading hitter on the team in that series, batting .286. So, yeah, LSU guys are doing really, really well. Someone asked me yesterday off air, could you give us an update on Josh Smith? Something I'll do next week or maybe Thursday when we get back. Maybe I'll see if I can run down Josh and just ask him how he's doing with his recovery from his back injury. That's a good idea. We'll do. Cole, please, let's get Turang to LSU. This guy can be a 3-4 hole hitter in the lineup as a freshman, shortstop for the next 3 years. To pair Turang and Cabrera in the middle of the lineup for 2 years. Watson next year makes for a dangerous middle of the lineup, no doubt. I mean, when you look at, even without Turang, next year is filthy, disgustingly good for LSU. With Turang, it's just an embarrassment of riches. So we'll see. Worked out for Bregman. He got more money in the end. That's true, Kyle. That's also a bit of an outlier. Keep in mind, Bregman would have been a first rounder, but he broke his hand, and so he didn't get to play much of his senior year. And so he told teams, like, if you don't draft me in the first round, I'm not signing. So he knew going in, like, that if he wasn't a first round pick, he was coming to LSU, and every team knew it. So I think he ended up getting picked like in round 30 maybe, because he wore number 30 his first year at LSU, and I think that was to signify the 30 teams that passed on him in round 1, and maybe the fact that he went in round 30, sort of a motivational thing. Then of course he wore number 8 after that. Rick Lackney, good morning. Buddy Chesson, that's a lot of money for an 18-year-old kid to turn down. It is, which is why most of them don't turn it down. Cabrera turned down 2.5 last year. That's an oddity, quite honestly. Karsten Whitson, remember that kid from Florida who was like the 9th overall pick of the draft of the Padres, decided to go pitch at Florida, and it hurt him. I think he got injured at Florida and ended up maybe picked him up around like 25 or something. But I mean, look, my blood pressure hasn't risen at all about the Turang thing. I mean, he hasn't signed, so there's a chance. But the bottom line is, man, like, those kids generally don't show up. So is there a chance? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not. So I'll just wait and be pleasantly surprised. Robbie, where can we watch Team USA? If you go to usabaseball.com, they stream all the games. So usabaseball.com. Christopher Davis, good morning. Jeffrey Easley, good morning. Sean Walsh, good morning. Somebody asked about the quarterback. If you missed it, there was Cardell Thomas, the offensive lineman from Southern Lab in Baton Rouge, spoke to a bunch of reporters at the opening in Dallas. That's the big Nike recruiting combine type deal. And he mentioned, he's like, man, we're about to get a quarterback. So, and he said, I can't tell you who it is. I don't want to give nothing away. He said, but he's well known with a well-known brother. So that my guess is, if that's the case, it's probably Talia Tagovailoa, Tua's brother, who's committed to Alabama. If LSU flips Tua's brother, that would be like a massive story. So let's see if that happens. Believe it when I see it type thing. But, I'm very, very much in favor of signing a second quarterback, by the way. As we've talked a lot this week, if you've missed it on AFR, there was a great piece at USA Today by Paul Meyerberg just about transfer quarterbacks and that whole culture and how it's changed in intercollegiate football. The number that blew me away was there are 7 senior quarterbacks in college football this year that are backups that have not started yet. 7 that are still with the school they originally signed with. So basically just the career backup. Got signed with the school, stayed there, and they're seniors coming into this year, and they've not started yet. 7 in all of college football, and 2 are at service academies. I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore, So you get a chance to sign 2, absolutely. Because one of them is going to transfer. Let's see. I'll keep Parrish and Finley. We lose one if Tua version 2 commits. Kevin, Like, I don't think you can exist that way. I think you sign the best players if they want to come. If there's a good quarterback that wants to come to your program, you sign them. And the other thing is too, man, if another quarterback commit is going to shy away because you sign another good player, then do you really want him on your team? I mean, I'll give you the Flynn DeMarcus example. You know, Flynn had been committed. LSU was going after Robert Lane. Lane didn't want him to sign another quarterback, but Lane wouldn't guarantee Nick that he wasn't going to go play pro baseball, so Nick kept recruiting JaMarcus. Flynn stayed on board the whole time. Lane went to Ole Miss. LSU got JaMarcus, and it worked out for everybody involved. I mean, Robert Lane became a fullback at Ole Miss, but, you know, JaMarcus became the number one pick, and Flynn, of course, won a championship and, you know, played a long time in the NFL. So it works, man. I mean, Brennan and Narcisse both signed in the same class. I don't shy away from that. Cole said, I think one is leaving regardless. McMillan will transfer for the season. I agree. I still think Justin McMillan's going to transfer. If he doesn't, good on him. But eventually what's going to happen is they'll get into fall camp. And this is exactly what happened with Lindsey Scott last year. Got into fall camp, was going to give, you know, Matt Canada's offense a go. And you can say it's an open competition, but eventually the reps start getting streamlined because you've got to pick a starter. So when the reps started going last year to Etling and Brennan, and then you still had like McMillan and Lindsey Scott down the list, and Narcisse, Lindsey was like, he just saw the writing on the wall and bounced. Like, that may very well happen this year too. So Carl Dunn, good morning, Carl the Cat. Trivia, how good is Tua's brother? Higher, like the 10th rated quarterback in the country, so my guess is pretty good. I haven't seen him play though. Got a commitment offer and committed to Alabama. He's got good enough for that. Boy, Kevin, you are jaded. Then we get left at the altar again, putting our hopes on a one-star random transfer guy from Montana State or somewhere. I don't recall LSU ever taking a one-star transfer from Montana State ever. And if that's your thinking, then that's on the coaching staff. They got to get better guys in the boat. So that's a lot of candid conversations that happen with recruiters, with the coaches, and then with the players as well. So it's not uncommon to sign two. And just be candid. If you're going to sign two, sign them. Get two quarterbacks. Absolutely take two if you can. All right, let's see. We will, all right, last thing here, and then we're going to get out of here. Let y'all have a good 4th of July, and I appreciate y'all for watching. Josh Carlos said, imagine if Perilou would have never gotten in trouble. I really like the butterfly effect conversation of that because, of course, you never start Andrew Hatch. How much better is that team in 2008? Perilou would have been a senior in 2009. So the sort of the reformation of LSU's offense under Les after 2007. You remember because Gary Croton was wide open, the Wizard and all that stuff. 2008, they have all the pick sixes and the interceptions. And then Les went into a shell and was like, we're just going to run the football. And he completely changed what he did offensively from that point on. People forget it wasn't always like that. You know, when Les got here and he had JaMarcus and he had Matt Flynn, it was much more wide open, and certainly in 2007. But, you know, that 2008 season changed less. So I do wonder, like, how that would have gone. And then, obviously, every quarterback that had to play, Jefferson and Lee, wouldn't have been playing as freshmen and sophomores. They would have been playing as upperclassmen instead. It certainly could have been very different. But at the same time, you're 10 years removed from that now. Like, you just have to be better than that. And they've been bad for a decade, and that's on them. So, all right, I think Drew is fussing now. So, let me see if he wants to come in here. Drew. Hi, come say hi to everybody. You want to come say hi? Some of y'all, I think some of y'all were asking. Some of y'all who maybe just jumped aboard on here. Hi. Drew was here earlier. He was just fussing like a lot. Elevator. So we actually had started the show, stopped it, so I can go get him situated. We started it again. So, but here he comes. Here's Drew. Hi. You want to say hi to everybody and wish everybody a happy 4th of July?
Yeah.
4th of July? Say hi. Say happy 4th of July.
Mama.
Clap hands for Mama comes home. Mama plays clap hands for Drew be alone. Big block. I love you. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Laurel. Can you say hi?
Mimi.
Mimi.
Truck.
Truck. Hey, can you say hi?
Truck.
Truck. Say happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July.
Mama.
Mama. Okay, let's go play. All right, y'all have a great 4th of July. Be safe. Okay. Y'all have a great 4th of July. Be safe. We will see y'all tomorrow on episode 100 of Morning Scone. We'll look forward to that. And in the meantime, have a great day and all that jazz and everything. Go America, 4th of July. Eat some hot dogs. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well. Get Boudreaux. Boudreaux. Buy some of it. Go buy that. Boudreaux. Boudreaux.